Hello everyone. Before we start, make sure to like and subscribe to the channel and leave a comment with Wario or From and what time you're watching. That way, YouTube will keep showing you stories just like this one. Now, let's begin. My name is Sarah Mitchell, and until last fall, I lived in a quiet suburb of Portland, Oregon. I moved there after my divorce, hoping for a fresh start. It was a 2-story rental house in a peaceful cul-de-sac, the kind of place where you expect kids riding bikes, BBQs on weekends, and friendly neighbors waving hello. But my neighbors never waved back. Actually, there were no neighbors. The house to my left had been empty since the day I moved in. Its paint was chipped, grass overgrown, blinds drawn. The realtor had casually mentioned it was waiting for new owners, and I didn't think much of it. The first knock had started one rainy Thursday night. I was sitting on the couch, scrolling on my phone, when I heard it. Knock, knock, knock. Knock, knock. Knock, knock. I froze. It was coming from the left side of my house, not the front door, but the wall, as if someone was knocking from the other side. At first, I thought maybe I imagined it. Rain on the windows, maybe a tree branch. But then it came again. Knock, knock, knock. 3 slow, deliberate knocks. I grabbed my phone and went to the kitchen window, the one that faced the empty house. Nothing, just darkness and rain sliding down the glass. I laughed nervously at myself. Old house noises, I whispered, locking the back door anyway. Night after night, the knocking didn't stop. Sometimes it came from the wall next to my bedroom, sometimes from the shared fence outside. Always 3 knocks. Always slow, like someone was waiting for me to answer. I asked my landlord about the empty house next door. He sounded annoyed. That property's been vacant for years. Nobody's living there. But I keep hearing, "It's an old house," he interrupted. Settling wood, pipes, don't overthink it. The footsteps, one night around 2 a.m. I woke to the sound of footsteps in the gravel between the 2 houses. Crunch, crunch, crunch. I grabbed a flashlight and quietly moved to my living room window. The motion light on the side of my house flickered on, but there was nobody there. The next morning, I saw it. Fresh footprints in the wet dirt. Small, bare footprints. Like a child's, they led from the side of the empty house, right up to my wall. Meeting the neighbor by week 3, I was exhausted. The knocks were now happening earlier, sometimes even during the day. So when I saw a man across the street taking out his trash, I rushed over. "Hey, do you know who used to live next door to me?" I asked. He looked startled, then uneasy. "Nobody's lived there since the Petersons. The Petersons, they died in that house. Gas leak, whole family." He lowered his voice. "Most people in this neighborhood don't talk about it. The place has a reputation." I felt my stomach drop. Has anyone ever heard knocking or seen someone there? He just shook his head and quickly went back inside. The police visit that night, the knocking got louder. So loud that picture frames on the wall rattled. I finally called 911. 2 officers arrived, checked the property next door, and told me what I already feared. "No one's in there, ma'am. Doors are locked, windows nailed shut. If you're scared, stay at a friend's place tonight." I didn't have anywhere else to go. Breaking point around 3 a.m., I woke up to the sound of knocking again. But this time, it wasn't just 3 knocks. It was continuous. Bang, 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 bang. I sat frozen in bed, clutching my phone, until I heard it. A whisper, right against the wall. "Sarah, let us in," I screamed. The final night, I decided to record it. I set up my phone near the wall, hit record, and waited in the dark. At 1:17 a.m., the knocks started. 3, slow, deliberate, then silence. When I played the recording back the next morning, my blood ran cold. After the knocks, there was breathing, and then a voice. Not much longer. The twist I called a paranormal investigator. When he came over, he immediately went pale, standing in my living room. "There's something here," he whispered. "But it's not. It's inside your house." He pointed at the wall. "It's in their house, and it knows you can hear it." He offered to do a cleansing ritual. But before we could even start, there was a sound. All the windows next door slammed shut at once. The house next door had been empty for years. No furniture, no curtains, but I swear I saw a child's face peering from the upstairs window, smiling. "Oh, you lived next to the Peterson place." Funny, they just found a set of tiny handprints inside the walls during renovation. She laughed. Creepy, right? I didn't laugh, because I already knew those hands had been there the whole time. And some nights when I wake up at 3 a.m., I swear I can still hear it. Knock, knock. Story number 2 by Daniel Cole. My name is Daniel Cole, and until last winter, I never believed in anything supernatural. I was a practical guy, a software engineer from Denver, living alone in a small apartment near downtown. It started on a snowy evening when I was working late on my laptop. The building was unusually quiet. Most of my neighbors were out for the holidays. And I was halfway through a project when I heard a faint scraping sound outside my apartment door. At first, I thought it was just the janitor, but the sound didn't move away. It stayed right there, like someone was dragging their nails across the wood. I waited a full minute before slowly getting up and looking through the peephole. No one was there. I opened the door cautiously, half expecting to catch someone playing a prank, but the hallway was empty. Just the hum of the old fluorescent lights. I shut the door, double-locked it, and tried to laugh it off. The next night, it happened again. Only this time, there were 3 distinct knocks. Slow, heavy, and deliberate. I didn't open the door this time. I sat there in the dark, listening, waiting for footsteps, but there were none. Just silence after the knocking stopped. By the 3rd night, I was jumpy, checking my locks twice before bed. Around midnight, I heard it again, but this time, the knocks were followed by a whisper. It was so soft, I almost thought I imagined it. "Daniel." My heart stopped. Nobody in this building knew me well enough to whisper my name at my door. I called building security, and they came up to check the hallway. Nothing. The cameras in the corridor didn't show a single person on my floor during the time I heard the knocking. That should have made me feel better. It didn't. A few nights later, I woke up to the sound of footsteps inside my apartment. Not in the hallway, inside. I grabbed a kitchen knife and checked every room, every closet. The door was still locked from the inside. Windows closed. No one there. I didn't sleep at all after that. The following night was the worst. I had just turned off the lights and laid down when I heard the knocks again. This time, louder, more urgent. Then, the doorknob started to turn slowly. I called 911, whispering into the phone, my eyes glued to the door. The operator stayed on the line as I waited, frozen, until the sound stopped. The police arrived minutes later, searched the building, and found nothing. No signs of forced entry, no footprints in the fresh snow outside. But when I came back inside, something was different. Every cabinet in my kitchen was open. I hadn't opened them. That was the moment I knew I had to leave. I packed my things and moved out the very next morning. A week later, I got a call from the building manager. He sounded shaken. "You said you were in 3B, right? Yeah? Why?" "There's something you should know. That apartment's been empty for 3 years. The last tenant." He hesitated. "He was found dead in there. Nobody knows how he got in. The door was locked from the inside when they found him. Just like when you lived there." I didn't say a word. That night, while staying at a friend's place, I woke up at exactly 12:03 a.m. to a familiar sound. Knock, knock, knock. Knock, knock, knock. This time, it was on my bedroom door. Story number 3. It was nearly midnight when Claire left the gas station just outside Flagstaff, Arizona. The desert highway was empty, the air cold enough to bite through her jacket. She was driving back home after visiting her sister, and the GPS told her she had another hour before reaching her apartment. About 30 minutes in, her radio cut out. Just static. Then she heard it, a faint sound over the static. 3 short knocks. She glanced at the empty passenger seat, then back to the road. Another 3 knocks. She turned the radio off completely, but the sound didn't stop. It was coming from somewhere inside the car. She pulled over on the side of the dark highway, leaving the engine running, and checked the back seat. Nothing. The trunk was locked exactly as she left it. Trying to calm her nerves, she got back behind the wheel and started driving again. The knocks started once more, but this time they were louder, like someone was knocking from under the car. Her phone buzzed suddenly, making her jump. It was a text from an unknown number. Don't stop again. Her blood ran cold. She tried calling the number, but it didn't go through. No service. She drove faster, gripping the wheel so hard her knuckles hurt. A few miles later, she saw headlights in her rearview mirror. A pickup truck was tailing her, high beams flashing. At first, she thought they were trying to pass her, but they stayed right behind her, flashing the lights again and again. Finally, panicking, she pulled over. The truck stopped behind her and a man jumped out, yelling something she couldn't hear over the roar of passing wind. He ran to her window, banging on it, shouting, "Get out! Get out of the car now!" Terrified, she refused, but then he pointed under her car. "There's someone under there," he screamed. Claire stumbled out, her legs barely working, and the man crouched, shining a flashlight under the car. For a moment, nothing. Then a pair of pale, dirty hands reached out and grabbed the edge of the bumper. Claire screamed as the man pulled her back, just as a figure slid out from underneath. A thin, mud-covered stranger with wide, lifeless eyes. Before she could react, the man from the truck chased the figure into the desert. They both disappeared into the dark. Claire didn't wait. She jumped back into her car and drove as fast as she could toward the nearest town, heart hammering. When she finally reached a 24-hour diner, she called the police. They searched the stretch of highway where she'd stopped, but found nothing. No footprints, no sign of the stranger, not even tire marks from the truck that had supposedly saved her. The officer looked at her strangely. "Ma'am," he said, "that road's been closed since last month. Bridge washed out. No one should have been driving there tonight." Claire didn't respond. She just sat there, shaking, because she could still feel the imprint of those hands on her bumper. And when she finally got home and stepped out of her car, she saw something scratched into the paint near the back wheel. 3 letters written with something sharp. "Run."